I still cannot understand the iconic status that Buffy has. I want to understand it. I enjoyed the show. I'm not going to say I
Hmm.
didn't enjoy the show because I did enjoy the show.
Right.
Why is a feminist icon the character that was whining because she couldn't go shopping and she was always talking about boys damn near every episode? I that was the thing, like, because if you treat a feminist, if you talk to a hardcore feminist
Hmm.
like a woman is like that, you are a monster, you are sexist and everything like that. It's like, but I'm describing your icon. I don't understand Buffy, like, the significance of the
My
show.
my take on it, it was because she was a, and this is my take. Don't quote me on this. I am not a scholar on this. I've only watched the series 3 times, so I don't know. But my take is that it was because she was relatable. It had to do with the fact that she was a front-facing, strong leadership role female character while not being always gruff, not being basically a man with tits, essentially.
But she was so
She was,
stupid.
but that
She
was
had to be
subject matter.
she was the damsel in distress 80% of the show, and people had to keep going in and saving her.
I'm not sure that she really was. I felt like she was the one saving everyone else because she was the one with superpowers. Ninety
Okay,
percent of the
so
show,
okay,
ninety percent of the show was
that was the
about
point of
getting
the
her.
show, but Willow kept having to save her from falling in love with the wrong man.
Oh well, we've all been there.
Doesn't matter. That was the main thing for this iconic feminist character. Like that, the thing, like, just as a show, as a character, like that,
Mhm.
not bothered at all. No questions. Enjoyed the show. Liked loved the show.
It
Like,
may be,
had a lot of
it may
enjoyment out of
be.
it. Why do feminists who are anti this character, they are actually anti this character, but they love this. They are anti these characteristics, but they are pro this
I'm
character.
I'm not going to speak for them. My
Oh no, I'm not.
I'm yeah.
I'm not thinking that
I'm
you
s-
could.
I'm
I'm
throwing
just
out I'm throwing
confused.
out guesses here. I'm throwing out guesses. My
But
next
you
my
see my
next guess would be,
confusion, though,
yeah.
right?
My next guess would be, like, at that time that it came out, that literally was the only show that had anything like that at all. Like, I remember I didn't start watching the show at first because
Nah, Buffy
I,
came out after La Femme Nikita, and La Femme Nikita was badass
nobody
female.
nobody watched La Femme Nikita. It was on the
Really?
USA. It was on the USA Network. There were like 4 people who watched anything on the USA Network. I know
I
because
was
I
wrong.
watched everything. I watched La Femme Nikita and the Highlander series on the USA Network, and I was literally the only person I knew for miles who knew that these shows existed.
Okay, I'll give you that. Not exactly prime time. I
Right.
will give you that. But I liked it. Like
I liked it. Yeah.
I think Dollhouse is a is a better show than Buffy. I think the characters in Dollhouse were better than I think the main character in Dollhouse was better than the main character in Buffy. Buffy.
Okay.
Eliza Dushku is awesome,
Yeah.
and she never disappoints. She was actually one of the best. She was the best Slayer in Buffy.
Hmm.
Like, I mean, she was even a better Buffy than Buffy. No, but see, I still had a little bit of that because when I watched this show, the first time, because I didn't succeed in continuing the show when I first tried to watch it.
Hmm.
I succeeded years later when I tried to watch it when it made its way to Netflix.
Okay.
But when I started watching it when I was a teenager, I was like, man, I hate, hate how often just I listening to people whine because I didn't have because I had a sister. So my
Hmm.
entire childhood was literally just listening to my sister whine all the time about everything. So an entire movie focusing, like an entire show focusing around a character that just never stops whining, I wasn't there for, especially at that point in my life. And then
Okay.
later on, because I actually it was when I was living in Portland was when I watched it the first time because everybody was obsessed about it. And
Sure,
I'm
yeah.
like, okay, I need to understand why. Then I watched it and I had more questions. That is not how that is supposed to go.
Well, and it may well. And here's the thing, interestingly, because this is one of those things that came up at this most recent strike. So I had no interest in watching the show when it was first on. Okay, my only knowledge of it was at the time I was doing a lot of driving because I was doing deck cleaning work, so I was driving to all these different houses to clean their decks. And so my only knowledge of the show was the radio ads for it, which all made it sound like really super dramatic, like teen romance type stuff. Like
That's what it
like
was.
yeah, that, to at its core, sure, but there were other things. But
Well,
so
yeah.
it sounded really
It's
dumb,
not all it
and
was.
right. But and then somewhere I think it was I can't remember exactly how many years into the show it was, but it was already had been around long enough that it was now in syndication in some places. There were already channels showing reruns of it. And my son had just been born. He was still an infant. And I got up to feed him one morning. It's 4 o'clock in the morning. I finally get him his bottle, and now I just gotta sit here and try to stay awake while he eats. So I start channel surfing through, and I land on this really weird looking show where some kids are fighting some monsters and cracking jokes. And I'm like, well, this is amusing. I wonder what this is. And it wasn't until like 15 minutes in that I was like, holy shit, this is Buffy the Vampire Slayer. And I'd landed somewhere in the middle of season 3 was where I basically started watching it.
Oh, they were
And that
very into their groove at that point.
that's the thing, is the
Yeah.
show was into its groove. The first season and a half of the show took a lot of work to get through. When I went back to go start at the beginning, that first season, and even like the whole introduction of Angel in season 2, it was tough to get through. But I kept persevering because I had seen season 3 already, and I knew it gets better. So
That is that
and
okay, yeah.
that was even an issue with, like I said, that was one of the things that came up in the most recent strike, was the fact that nobody gets a chance to develop their show anymore. Too many shows are, you get 10 episodes, 8 episodes, 13 episodes max, and if you're not an instant hit, you're out. No one gets a chance to build their audience, build their show anymore. And one of the reasons I think that Buffy has the staying power that it has is because starting in season 3, it's fucking epic. If you
It's
can
pretty good.
power through the first 2 seasons, then you are about to watch some of the best TV
Well,
you've ever
like I
seen.
said,
Season 3 was phenomenal. Okay,
remind me of the
granted,
story. Remind me of the story arc of season 3.
the mayor and Faith and the Mayor is season 3.
Okay, well, yeah, like I said, Faith is the best part of that show. So,
Season 3 is the best season of Buffy, and I know there are people out there who are going to get mad at me for saying that, but I stand by it.
well, I mean, the best episode, the two best episodes of Buffy are Once More with Feeling, and I think it's called Hush.
Yes, and those are both season 5, I think.
That was the episode after her mother died.
Also amazing, yes. So yeah, it even gets better. Like
Eliminating all background music and everything, all sound effects for that episode. That was so jarring, and
mm-hmm.
that was in my eye, like, people say brilliant way too much these days. Like, I remember being in LA, and this one lady's like, what he's doing, it's brilliant. He's like, we got the camera. It's like, well, let's just film at home. It's brilliant. I'm like, okay, you freaking idiot. That's probably day 1 of film school. You thinking that's brilliant is doing nothing but you shouting to me how much of a moron you are. Like, brilliant, like, things are only brilliant to people. I'm not going to finish that sentence.
Right.
It's not everything is brilliant. Just because you didn't think of something, you are not a genius. Like,
now hold on. Hold on.
I'm using the royal you. Oh man, nah, okay. No, another audience comment. Dude, he nailed it right on the head. We need to learn to strike at the same time.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Like that's the thing. Like these things actually have to be.
I concur,
worked
comrade.
Together.
Yep.
Wow. Right to comrade. I feel you, comrade. All right. You want to take a
It's
couple
called
minute
the
break?
General Strike. You can Google it. Go for it.
Oh God, move on.
Da-dun, 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 da-dun.